2016.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I used to be friends with Barb on Facebook a long time ago.
Oh, no shit. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So, yeah, it goes Dampier, Thief Alive, Sister of the
Check,
Dead,
check.
Traitor to the Blood, Rebel Fae, Child of a
Check,
Dead
check.
God,
Check.
In Shade and Shadow, Through Stone and Sea, Of Truth and Beasts.
Oh,
Let's
damn.
see.
Yeah, I'm way behind. I got through Sister of the Dead. From what I can see here, unless I've got one that's missing somewhere.
Check.
Yeah,
or
that's
is
only the third
elsewhere.
book.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm way behind.
Check.
They're missing one. I see right now.
Cause yeah, from what I remember, I bought Sister of the Dead
Check.
right before it went or right after it went and got released, and then it was like a year or two before they released the next one, I think. And
Yeah.
I got distracted by other books and completely forgot about them.
Sorry to interrupt.
Unfortunately.
Sorry to interrupt you guys. How's my volume?
You're good.
Sound good?
Okay, it's all right tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. I will be.
I'm not hearing it breaks.
Okay, good. I will be.
Okay.
1. He's back. All right, we're good. Good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. And then actually there's 4 books actually in the second series. And the second series focuses on Wynn and Chain doing their stuff, and then it goes back to the whole group again in the last series. I don't want to spoil too much for you.
Oh, please. I read the end of the book and then go and decide whether or not it's worth reading, and then go and read the rest of it.
The first book I actually got of the series was Traitor to the Blood. I picked it up by accident at Barnes & Noble. I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. And then I discovered there were 3 books before it.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, I started with Dampier, and I went from there.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
it's like the
Finnish
second one has...
or Australian?
For what?
Licorice.
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, pick
I don't
one.
like licorice.
More for me.
I've just never cared much for licorice.
Most people don't, but here I am. I eat all of it for them. I'm gonna take Finnish, I think, cause I think I've had Australian before and it was good, but I've never had Finnish, so we're gonna try that.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't do this, but for me, at the end of Child of a Dead God, I did cry a little bit. So.
Ooh.
Yeah, one of my favorite characters kind of got axed. So.
Oh. Okay.
And
all right.
And even Barb told me she had cried at the end of writing that one.
Okay. All right. That's a good indicator. I'm okay with this.
Yeah. But in the, like I said, second series has In Shade and Shadow, Through Stone and Sea, Of Truth and Beasts, and Between Their Worlds. And then after that, you have Dog in the Dark, A Wind in the Night, The Night Voice, and The First and Last Sorcerer.
Wait, now we're going and bringing magic into all this? Well, yeah.
Well,
Never mind.
I'm like, think about it. If you got the Sister of the Dead, you'd get kind of a premise of what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, last thing I remember, she found out that she was the child of the big vampire dude. And she was like, I think she found out that she was part vampire or something like that. Like, there was always that question of am I or am I not, or something like that.
Yeah, she went back on her mother's memories and saw that she's Will Steele's half sister, who's a vampire.
Yes.
And then kind of loses her shit through there. But yeah.
I think she started going and losing her shit like right there at the end of the book, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta wait now.
Tender to the Blood's the next one right after it, and it's a really good one too.
Yeah, I have to go and check it out.
Yeah. Like, I know I've read all the way through to A Wind in the Night, and I'm hesitant on reading the last two because I know it's going to end. I don't want it to end.
And you just gotta go and start over.
I know. Well, the books are completely creased on their spines by now. The page is yellow because of how many times I've read them.
Nice.
But The Mist-Torn
Yeah.
Witches is pretty good too.
Yeah, I
It's
went
about
and I did that with the Dresden Files.
Mm-hmm.
I went and bought them. I bought all of them in like paperback.
Yeah.
And then I went and bought them all on Audible too.
Butters is funny.
Oh my god, yes, he is. See, you're getting there.
I'm getting there slowly. Right now I'm in Deadbeat.
Nice. I love that one.
Where Butters is the sole focus at the moment.
Oh yeah.
And I've met Mouse.
Ouch.
Well, I love Mouse. Mouse is a good boy.
I did not see that plot twist with Tom. That plot twist with Tom miss.
Yep. I kind of figure you wouldn't.
I mean, there's nothing indicating it. You just think that he's just manipulating to manipulate because that's all he does.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks he's a dumbass, but he's really, really not.
No, he was going and doing it to kind of go and protect Harry as much as he could.
As well as everyone else that he found that he liked, including...
Yes and no. I kind of have the sneaking suspicion that Justine had a bit more of an idea than what she really led on to.
Well, Justine knew exactly what was going on. She only played it when she was insane, when she was away from Thomas for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, certainly.
She was fully aware of things, and then the Red Court was like, "Oh, we're gonna eat her," and they're like, fucking bitch is crazy."
Wait. That's all I have to say is just wait.
Well, right now she's comatose, so comatose.
Wait.
Yeah, I know.
You'll see just what goes and happens in the very last book.
The White Queen made me laugh. It's just, "Hi, I'm here now."
Oh yeah. Mab?
No. The White.
Wait.
The Queen of White.
Laura.
Laura, yeah. That's the
Yeah.
Winter Queen, not the White Queen.
Correct, yes.
Two different things.
Well, so her story is kind of
interesting.
Different.
It's kind of weird. Like, yes, she is the White Queen, and yet the rest of the world doesn't know it.
Yeah, she's the one ruling behind her father, who is nothing but a puppet now.
Exactly. Which is just a fucking weird situation.
The situation that was weird is how he became the puppet. Because it's like, as he's leaving the room, it's like, they're gonna do some shit, and they're gonna do some shit.
Oh, she mind-fucked her dad into complete...
Quite literally.
Obscurity.
Quite literally.
I mean, he's complete fucking lost now.
And he who walks behind just showed up again.
Mm-hmm. Wait till you go and meet the rest of those folks.
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna be fun. He's supposed to be the general.
He walks behind?
Yeah, he walks behind is said to be the general. That's what they called him. Or the right hand, or whatever he was.
Yes and no. He's kind of he's one of the high ups, like a lieutenant sort of thing. And he's not the only one.
Well, yeah, of course not. He's one of the generals.
There's three of them. There's he who walks behind, he who walks beside, and he who walks before. As far as I'm aware of, I think Harry has dealt with 2 of them by the end of the books.
Well,
Or
he
at
has
least
already
Matt-
dealt with. He's already dealt with He Who Walks Behind once.
Once.
Yes, while he was a kid.
Yes.
Which cracked me the fuck up because he was like, "Oh, I remember you." It's like, "Are you sure you want to fight him again?" He kicked your ass, and he was like a kid.
Yeah. Well, he's
A lot
not
stronger
gone.
now. Well, no, he's a demon. Demons don't go unless they're killed by one of the holy swords. Apparently. Maybe. Actually. Now that not I say that, but because of the whole thing with the nightmare thing, but then we found out that it wasn't actually a demon at all, it was something else. It was the guy. So, we don't actually know if one of the holy swords kills a demon. Not for 100%.
It does, but there's stipulations based on the being in question. From what I've come to understand, the knight's job is not to destroy evil, but it is to give it a chance to change its mind in most cases.
That's for things with the ability of doing it. You can't
Correct.
really they don't do it with vampires or demons.
Correct.
Because they don't have a way of turning around. It is going
They
against
don't have a
all
soul
of their
to
nature.
save.
Well,
They don't have a soul to save.
The vampires more do, some of them at least. The white court definitely seems to. Thomas soul gazed.
Yeah.
You don't get to soul gaze unless you have the soul to gaze. The Reds did too. No, wait, no.
No, they do. They do have the ability to do that. But I think that's because the Reds and especially the Blacks
don't
have. No, not necessarily. It's part of a wizard-ish thing too, from what I understand.
I don't see him gazing with any of the Blacks anytime soon. Then again, the only Black that will talk to him and not straight up fucking kill him is Mabra, but all she wants to do is fucking kill him.
Yeah.
What's
currently.
that?
Nothing.
She manipulates him later on too, and it's
really
so
fucking
far behind in the shadows that you don't even understand what the hell's going on.
You don't even see it coming until later. Though I did find the whole thing with taking on the murder of the Blacks, just how that whole thing ended cracked me the fuck up.
Oh yeah.
Bolshevik Muppet.
What's that?
Yes. Dresden Files.
I know.
We're nerding. Leave us alone.
No, I know.
We had
Better
the nerd
conversation
here.
than last night.
What's that?
I said it's a better conversation than last night.
What was the conversation? Oh yeah, the conversation last night was sitting on your lap versus my lap.
Yo, what the heck?
I don't know. I don't know. I could
Borm
go
started
either
it.
way on
say
that
I
one.
don't know.
I could go either way on that one. Those are kind of par for the course. Or on par. That's the word I want. That's yeah.
And they're back.
And they're back. Hi everyone.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Hi.
Were we waiting for a cake? Just because this is kind of a big cake deal. I don't. Do we know what his plans are?
Oh, Cake messaged me and said, "I'm off work at 6, so I'll be there tonight, just not right on the dot."
Okay.
So I'm expecting him any minute. Hi, folks.
He's here on the square at the very least.
Hey,
I've had a week and a half.
Well, I would hope so.
I think a lot of us have.
Yeah,
We haven't ended the week yet, so it should only be a week and a half.
Yeah, it's been something. It's been something else this week.
That's been for
Chaos. Let's be honest.
me. It hasn't been for me, so I guess this is like one of the only weeks that hasn't been utter fucking chaos for me. It hasn't been fun.
Say that.
It hasn't been fun, but it hasn't been that bad. It's been kind of like
Just kind of meh.
no, it's been predictable.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
Could somebody be a bro and just open my stream for 2 seconds?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm just
We will
wondering
all do
because
it.
yeah, I've got all my mic settings nice, and like I'm talking now, and it's just grazing the yellow, which is really good. I just want to make sure that I'm audible. Let me know when you get it open, and I'll start talking.
Yeah, audio is perfect. For the
It
stream.
is.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you both. Perfect.
I would say I was stuck in an ad.
Oh,
I was also stuck in an ad.
yeah, that'll
Like
happen.
on mine, it was only like 5 seconds. So I'm like, all right, I'll tough it out.
Nice.
So I had a quick chat with Justin.
Yeah.
regarding reclamation.
Reclamation.
And I would say at some point during your tenure as a teacher in Brightwater, you would be visited by a gnome from the kingdoms of Vezek.
Do I need to write this down?
Not really, but who is a time specialist like you.
Oh yeah.
But had been studying it for quite a long, probably a slightly longer time given his age.
Oh.
But but he's a very methodical person.
If
Like,
you're a time wizard, then age is subjective.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. But even more so when you're a gnome and you can live up to 500.
Good
I mean,
point.
I could introduce you to a character that one of my other DMs has made. His name is Manny. He has lived several thousands of years and exists everywhere all at the same time.
I am everywhere and yet nowhere.
And he is also insane and has it is Manny's magical, mundane, mischievous, and he just keeps adding M's, and then he just ends with Shop.
Yeah.
And he sells completely worthless shit. Like the sword of warning. As soon as you pull it, it is a sword of warning that is subjective to what it considers a threat. So if you pull it, so it may warn you about rocks falling, but it may not warn you about the guy about to stab you in the back because it's not very dangerous to a sword.
Mm. Very
Or the paranoid sword of warning, which is always screaming at all times and never stops.
Oh my god.
Imagine opening a chest and finding that.
Oh, it's only silenced by its own scabbard, and is not silenced by any other ability. You cannot silence it, you cannot mute it, and you cannot make it stop.
Wow.
Other than its own scabbard.
Blink, blink, blink. Fuck.
Anybody watch Good Mythical Morning?
I
Not really.
used to a little tiny bit.
Yeah, I like that. I like that show sometimes. They were doing a Would You Rather today, and one of them was, would you rather have always have underwear that wasn't clean, or always use towels that weren't dry?
Towels.
Those are horrible
Yeah, I go with
choices.
towels.
That's what they went with, was the towel. No, wait.
Because it didn't say how
They went with the
damp
underwear.
the
They went with
towels
the
were.
underwear. Yeah.
Even if they're
Ew.
damp, they still dry.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. They said that they'd rather have. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, they'd rather have because they want clean underwear. Yes, so they'll take the.
I would prefer the clean underwear.
Yeah, because
I mean,
you use a hairdryer to dry yourself off.
Yeah.
that or just use the towel, because the towel, I mean, sure, it's wet, but it still works.
Or like I do after showers, you just walk into the street and you stand in the sun for 10 minutes and you're dry.
That might get you arrested,
What's that?
but yeah, you could do that.
What's that?
And it depends on where you're at.
You're right, it might get you a 20 thrown at you.
Yeah.
And possibly your wife beating you up. I don't know about that other part.
Ah,
Not unless she was the one who threw the 20.
that's right.
That's
yeah.
also possible.
Yeah. And my name's not Johnny Depp. Oh, topical. Sorry about that.
It's fine.
How could you, Ellis?
All right, are we ready?
Are we still waiting on cake?
Well, we could
If
wait.
we don't need to, we don't need to. I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, we could wait.
I mean, it depends. Where do we live off? What's the game
We're
plan
talking
here?
to the Dryads, which
Yes.
was mostly him talking to the Dryad, or her talking to the Dryads. Or the Dryads talking to us. I can't remember what the actual plan was at this situation. We'd always just start talking,
Yeah,
and then
that's
just
up to
like
y'all.
at one point just go, let's have the person, the spirit of the forest talk for us.
The Wizard of the Woods.
Hmm.
The Lorax.
I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees, chopping everyone down on their great fucking knees.
What's that Lord of the Rings character, Billy Bob Thornton or something?
Radagast.
No, it's
Billy
The
Bob
Angels-
Thornton?
no, it's
You mean Tom
what's his
Bombadil?
face?
Yeah,
Tom
that's the
Bombadil.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Bombadil.
I screwed up the B and the T. Whatever.
it happens.
Billy Bob Thornton.
That's the best I had. I didn't know what his fucking name is.
That's great.
I'm sitting here going through every character in my head going, I don't see anyone named that.
Bob Ross?
Bob Thornton. What's a drunk, depressed Santa doing here?
He's protecting the forest with his rhymes and songs.
Mm-hmm.
They're off key and horrible in every way and makes you really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. And that's Lorelai Gilmore in that movie.
It is.
I'm glad there's one Gilmore Girls person here.
I was actually trying to think of the extra actress name.
Lauren Graham.
Okay.
Of course, Ellis would know that.
I just started season 7. I'm just so annoyed. Just her and Luke is just too much sometimes.
That's just a series I never
I just
ever
can't do
got
it.
into.
I just can't do it.
Yeah, her like honestly, the mom and the daughter are just shitty people.
They're just very, very selfish people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to start with the recap?
Yeah, why not? Let's do that. I mean,
as soon as you started, he'll show up.
yeah, I mean, if I need to play B, I'll just be like, well, y'all, I don't know about y'all fancy city ways. I can
Sounds
get through
exactly like B.
it. Yeah, I can get through it.
And it sounds like people I heard today.
Yeah.
Can't help you there.
Yeah, it was either Justin or Leg who was like, oh, we know people like this.
I believe I'm just gonna say I'm sorry. I guess.
Yes.
Someone has to be.
So let's take a look at our recap. All right. As I wrote this like a month ago, so it feels like it's been a while. As a mysterious black raven catches a Garwin's eye, B approaches and tries to speak with it. It tells B, the chosen approaches! Believing it must be referring to her, Deflator emerges from the cabin, which now appears to have been abandoned for years. A figure holding a lantern emerges from an arcane gate, flanked by pale and gaunt elves, who drag heavy spiked chains behind them. The figure explains how they were sent by the Raven Queen herself to bring a gift to Deflator, an arcane beacon which can capture both memories and souls. However, instead of presenting the gift as he was bidden to do by the Lady of Death, instead he challenges Deflator to a duel to prove which of them is worthy of being named her chosen. The other party members eye the Grey Elves carefully, waiting for them to make a move. Deflator defensively wreathes herself in flame like Shadow as the Chosen attacks with spears drawn directly from the Shadowfell. Looking on, Ren sits atop the ruined chimney of the cabin as a Garwin scales the roof to pet the raven and make a wager of berries with it on Deflator's assumed victory. Meanwhile, Versailles climbs a nearby tree, readying an arrow if needed. Deflator is wounded and the Chosen casts darkness, ready to claim her life. Deflator desperately raises her animated shield before bravely swinging her glaive in the total darkness, making contact with the Chosen, causing the darkness to drop. This turns the tide of the battle, and they trade blows, blood staining the snow-covered ground. The Chosen, desperate, curses Deflator with
They
confusion.
called it.
What?
Hello, I'm here.
Keiki!
Sorry, folks.
We're-
Oh, wait!
we are
Unacceptable.
we are mid recap.
I'm kicked from the party. Ah, dang.
No, never.
No,
Not
you
until we get
owe
out
us
of the woods.
cupcakes next week.
The party don't
Well,
start.
Don't say never.
Yes,
No, my brother just offered me cheesecake a minute ago.
you must always accept
Oh my
cheesecake.
god. So, is there any extra cheesecake? Do you happen to live in the San Diego area?
No, I live in Missouri. Sorry, a little far away.
Well, I thought I could get free cheesecake. Anyway,
I saw a video online. It was like there's a whole series of like elders react, and they find elders from like remote villages in like India and places like that. and they have them react to different things. And this week they reacted to cheesecake.
So that must have been interesting.
It was. They thought it was just the greatest thing ever, like the most delicious thing.
Well, I mean, it is like the greatest thing ever. I mean, they're not wrong.
It's my favorite.
Anywho,
Recap.
The Chosen
cursed Deflator.
Yes, desperately curses Deflator with confusion, who appears to be unable to move as a result. Adney cries out for someone to help her, as Ren jumps off the roof and slow falls, jumping off Octavian's shoulder, taking a defensive position and readying a radiant attack. This incites the chain-wielding elves to attack, tipping off a full party battle. One stands toe-to-toe with Ren, who promptly carves them up with his enchanted blade. Versailles looses an arrow, pinning one down, as Octavian tanks the other three. They seem to get the better of Octavian until Bee wild shapes into Yogi Bear. Unfortunately, her paws are so darn fluffy that her attacks are basically ineffective. It looks hopeless for Octavian and Deflator until a Garwin strikes the Chosen in the neck with one arrow and then quickly threads another one through the first, wood splintering inside his neck. With this, the Pretender falls as a Garwin gives Deflator a thumbs up. Lucan waves his hand, immobilizing the remaining Shatter Kai, as Ren takes his chance to headbutt one's nose into their skull. Versailles leaps from the tree, placing a shaft through one more, which falls. She strikes the last one, which seems to be clinging to life, as Lucan forces them to hover in midair helplessly. It is now that Deflator moves to take her lantern as the Chosen sputters out his last words that the conjunction of her realm with the Fae is destroying the balance. Find the tree. Find a way to stop the convergence. Turn it to cinder if you must. She chose you. Maybe she was right. Take the beacon and find the memories she needs. Deflator silently walks to the last elf and cuts it down with her glaive, slashing their neck before impaling the stomach and hitting their pole with her pole. At this, the Raven reappears, landing near Deflator, proclaiming her the true Chosen. Lucan identifies the lantern, explaining its power to the Kenku, while the others discuss what happened, as well as how the forest itself seems to be protecting them last night, pulling the cabin and supplies from another time or place to offer them a respite. Bee leads the party north to meet with the Dryads at their settlement of Junipera, and along the way, Ren chides Adney for not entering the fray, offering to train her when time allows. She expresses excitement about learning how to perform a radiant sunbolt kick, to which Ren advises her to temper expectations. Meanwhile, Lucan opens up about the tragedy of what happened to his family at the hands of Orcish raiders after the fall of Tychon, and how tragedy haunts his dreams. Finally, arriving in a low valley, Bee announces that she believes they have arrived, before speaking to a passing blue jay. The bird tells Bee that the Dryads are watching them from the trees, and Octavian convinces them to emerge. They accuse Octavian and Versailles of being with the tree killers, and warn that any flame or axe will be answered with death. They begrudgingly lead the party to their leader, Sula, who stands on a cracked stone altar over which looms a tall statue of an elf, the face faded, the material turned green long ago. She welcomes the group to Junipera and prepares to answer their questions. Whew. And that is the story of Session 4.
All right, good story time. See you guys next week.
Yes.
Good time, everyone.
Cake, do you have a quick second? Could you pull up... Well, actually, you could pull up my stream, or actually, you know what I could do? I could try to share my video in Discord if it's easier.
Yeah, that would be helpful. So just as a quick little
I just want to show you something.
Informative thing for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm currently working at like my San Diego fair. So,
oh yeah,
you know, having a good time. I'm only up here for like a month, so it's not that long. However, I only have my laptop with me, and I'm currently in the process of hooking it up and getting the electricity running to the trailer that I'm in right now. So I'm on my phone for now, but eventually I'll be on a laptop at least. So I don't currently have access to any kind of like D&D Beyond or Roll20. So I'm more than happy to do some interactions, but I can't really do any combat.
Okay.
I don't think
Just
we'll...
as a heads up, until I get it ready. I don't think we're gonna get in a fight. I mean, I really hope not. I don't think we'll get in a fight though, until I can have it ready. So I think we'll be fine for now. It really won't take me that long.
Cake, I just have one thing to tell you.
Yes.
Roll for initiative.
Oh God. What did you do, Octavian?
I was gonna show you my base, but I will show you another time.
Oh yes, please show me your base.
It's gorgeous.
Let me. Once I have everything together, I will 100% let you know, and then you can show me the base because I want to see it.
Oh yes.
I've seen it.
Yes. Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah. I lost my mind and I bought a base. I don't know what's going on with me.
Like a bass guitar.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, Ellis bought a double bass.
I did.
Cost him $30,000.
Yeah. Stand up bass. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, imagine.
Yeah. I used to play guitar, and I just had a dream that I needed to buy a bass, so I got a used one, and it's
Well,
quite,
yeah, bass is the superior guitar. You're learning.
yeah, it's quite nice. But anyway, moving on. So, having been sent by a strange fey mystic on an errand to tip the balance between light and dark in her favor by any means necessary, you followed the trail to Junipera, deep in the Verrawood, shimmering boughs with shades of purple from indigo to lilac, green from moss to mint, and blues from a deep navy to a brilliant sapphire in a low valley astir with life. Chittering and chirping audible from each branch of each tree, insects buzz past and scurry through the deep green carpet beneath your feet. Standing in front of you is a creature introduced as Sula, designated to speak for the Dryads and perhaps the forest itself. She would look to you, and she would gesture to the stone upon which you're all standing and say, "This altar, do any of you know what it is?" And I could take a history check, or...
Bitch, I don't know where I am.
I know we don't have a dwarf who knows stone well, but perhaps someone might.
I kind of want to go and run a racial history check here.
Sure.
Being an elf,
Yes.
I am
What else
technically-
on the list?
I am technically related to the Fae. Granted, it's distant, but yeah,
Elves
I'd
are
like to
Fae.
go and roll a history.
Absolutely.
If I could.
You know what, Vorm? Let's do that with advantage based on your history and your racial background.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
I win!
With a 20.
No, wait, that was religion. Fuck.
Try it again.
Where's my history? I mean, it's the same thing anyway. Well, either way, 14.
No, it's a 20. No. Oh, you did a religion. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I clicked religion first.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. With a 14.
I mean, it's the same modifier, so take which one you want.
Yes. With a 14. Yes. I chatted you something, and it's pronounced like this. This is when Matt goes over and whispers to someone.
I had to check and make sure I can still hear people.
Yes.
Mic check.
You're here.
Am
I'm
I
here.
still talking?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does
All
he
right.
learn?
So I'm gonna go and lean over to our wizard, and I'm gonna keep kind of quiet. But let's see, Alice, where did your message go?
God, I hope it didn't go far.
So
I can just read it if you want.
Really far. He's gonna lean kind of over to Lucian here and go and say, I kind of
Anybody
think
up here?
that this might be a bit of a sacrificial ritual site from the what the fuck was it called again? The Zanari?
Mhm.
Zanari Empire? Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's the one.
Is anybody getting some like scratching
Yes.
noises from
Yeah.
Ellis?
Yes. What are you doing, Ellis?
Scratching noises?
Yeah, it's when other people talk.
Yep.
I'm looking at your stream right now, wondering if you're doing anything. It doesn't look like you're doing anything.
No, it's definitely Discord because it's not coming through the stream audio.
Yeah.
There's just a snake on everybody's call, I guess.
I guess so.
Give it half a second here. Let me.
Because it's coming from Ellis.
Okay, it sounds like it's gone.
Yeah. It was only coming when we talked and Ellis wasn't.
It might be because of Cake. He might be getting feedback of
Is it-
feedback.
I was actually muted. If
Yeah.
that
Okay,
helps.
so it was.
Couldn't be.
It probably
I was
wasn't.
muted
It
on
just
top of
Okay,
it
hold
just
on.
shows that your thing is green, so I wasn't sure
Let-
if it was you.
Okay, let me talk for a second. Blah blah blah. And now I'm gonna be quiet. Now someone else talk and see if we have weird sounds.
All right,
Okay,
let's see.
well, working so
Discord,
far.
Fix your shit.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's good, man.
Okay. I swear to God, if we have
Sitting there
more,
like, oh shit, they noticed.
yeah, if we have more weird audio stuff from my end, I'm gonna take my computer. I'm gonna yeet it out the window.
Gotcha.
And it's
I'm
gonna be
not
the end of
getting
it.
anything weird from Ellis though. I'm only getting the weird sound when when Vorm is talking.
I don't.
Oh,
Yeah, it was when Vorm was talking, but Ellis's thing was lighting up green, so the auto is technically coming from his mic.
It's up now. So
the moment
fine.
it's fixed, so moot.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I only see one person talking at a time.
It's fine. No
All good.
worries. So, you said that it is a sacrificial altar from some generation thingy.
I said that I believe that it's a sacrificial altar from the histories of the, he believes, Zanari Empire.
Okay. He will give a very slight nod, and we'll just,
He might have gotten his electricity set up.
he will give a very slight nod, and get an eye towards Octavian. And just speaking to Octavian, psychically. Telling him exactly what Ren has said.
Not red.
You mean a Garwin?
Not Ren.
No,
Sorry,
Agarwin.
Agarwin. Sorry. I'm working on the names.
The pointy ear dude is saying this.
Pretty much. Say that Agarwin is saying that this may be a sacrificial altar from this period. Keep on your toes and don't, present yourself in any sort of way.
So as he's shared that information, Agarwin will kind of go and step forward and go and say, isn't this one of your sacrificial altar type things?
It's not mine, not ours. The stone upon which we stand belonged to the elves, and it's stained in blood of untold millennia. It's madness, no?
Well, I sure as shit don't own this place. I've never been here before.
Of course,
Blood is power. Just be careful. Don't want to cause too many issues with the dead and bled out here. But anyways, shall we continue this talk about trees and cutting and getting us the hell out of here?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Can we do that?
You wish to leave? You already?
Well, we mostly wish to kill that giant flying terror thing and then leave.
There are a lot of tasks on the docket.
A lot of tasks so far. I've only known them for at least a day or two, and I already can tell they got a lot. They got a lot.
I hold my
going on.
hand over my head and just go and say, we got a lot of shit to get done.
There are different types of madness that can affect those here. The gentle giants, gesturing to be, are cursed by this one you speak of that stalks the very wood. And yet we are stalked by another. Do you know what happens when one of my kind loses their tree? When it is cut?
They die.
Well, worse than this, a piece of them is lost forever. At best, it causes a type of longing, a loss, making us prone to wander. But at worst, and at this she gestures to a figure behind her who's sitting on the steps. She's shaking a bit wild-eyed. There's haphazard branches are jutting out from her shoulders. Her face is more flat and featureless than Sula or the others. It's contorted into an expression. It's part rage, part sadness. There's these just these round like knot holes, like from a branch where or from the trunk of a tree where her eyes once were, and she's mumbling a bit incoherently. And Sula says, "This is the result of the invaders."
Well, they're probably dying too, and probably the snow is going to kill them in due time.
You understand that these invaders were not sent. Well, they intended to march here, but something interrupted.
Something's holding them.
And something is holding them, yes. Which brings me to a question. Where the rest of us, aside from B here, as we are outsiders to this forest, the group of the Vanadori Legion, invaders you call them, left our capital roughly 11 years ago. And yet, for them, they have only spent a month away from home, as far as they can tell. Which is curious, unless you know something about this forest that the rest of us are unaware of.
I'm pretty sure they know a lot about this forest that the rest of us are unaware of.
Right. I'm trying to coax an answer or a follow-up question from
Oh,
them.
I'm sorry. I'm mumbling under my breath.
You're good. You're good. Don't worry about it.
I hope they know more about the forest than we do. That'd be a real problem.
Right?
We just got here. We know more about the forest. What?
She would say, she'd be thoughtful for a moment, and she'd say, "I have felt this as well. It wasn't always so, but whatever is happening between there's something of a convergence happening. There are creatures appearing here that we've not seen before or in ages. There's dark
Hello,
creatures.
I'm back.
Hi, Cake. There's dark
Or dead.
creatures, and there's other creatures of great beauty. Even some of our own elder spirits have been corrupted or have been confronted with strange mirror images of themselves, strange reflections. And we think that this could be causing what you speak of."
So
That sounds like a problem.
So this convergence you were speaking of is distorting the flow of time in this place. Or at least that is a symptom of this problem.
There are two reflections of this place. Do you know of what I speak?
Yes.
No.
Looking to
Well,
loose ends.
some of us do.
It's the past version and the current version. It seems something to do with the shed. The shed was an example of that. There's something powerful working, almost like it's two different versions at the same time.
In the shed?
That's just a focal point.
Oh.
She
An
says,
idea.
Is that how the weather here seems to change on a dime?
Seems almost like the weather is happening one way in one time and another way in another time. We may go back to the camp and it may be scorching hot. No rain had been seen in days.
Joy. We're fucked.
We may get back there, and it may be the most pleasant day we've ever seen in our lives.
I'm voting on that one.
There was a time I would wander, but it was long ago. Here, it is always as you see. It is always what you would call springtime here, what you see now. You're saying that it's not so far from here?
Kind of look at the rest of us, who are still likely bundled up, and just goes,
Lucille will take off a thing of snow and just like drop it on the ground. No.
Curious.
It's still cold.
Out of curiosity, so one of my sort said something about there being a tree here that we were sent to go and address the issue of. Have you seen any new trees that don't belong?
She sighs deeply. And she says, I have heard that the curator had sent a group on an errand, and now things are starting to make sense to me. The wood will see you safely to the grove, to Zekdiem as the elves called it once, or back to the towns, to your strife and war, if these curses are still yours to bear. The choice is yours.
So just to be clear, if we go and burn down this tree, we're not going to get strung up like a kite?
She sort of laughs and she says, to burn any tree here would be unfortunate, much less that particular tree.
What if it's an evil tree that's causing all this shit?
How can a tree be evil?
I don't know.
if your curator's to be believed, he believes the nature of that tree, the one that brings balance, is what's preventing her from, well, pushing back the darkness that is encroaching upon these lands. And other lands, perhaps even outside your forest. That is what we were tasked with doing when she teleported us here against our will.
This is what I spoke of, not the time, not the adulteration of time specifically, but the darkness. There's darkness here, and there's also light. There was always, but there's more. And I don't know that the answer to root out the darkness is to shine a brighter light. I don't know that that's the way.
My thoughts exactly.
But you must know we don't worship the curator, who you might know is, in her elven name, Nire. Our Lady of the Wood, and she walks over here, gesturing to this statue here, and she'd say, "This is believed to be Faunus, one of the children of Telas, who was the only born of Ix, actually. She was the lady of the forest. She walked with Diem, and together they created this forest, welcoming many species you see here today. It was at the end of the First Age, when Faunus returned to the clearing. She didn't know how long had passed. It had seemed mere weeks to her, but the landscape was changed. She couldn't find Diem, but instead found a great tree surrounded by elves, but they were not her kin, the children of Telas, the high elves, but rather copper-skinned with dark hair. Their language was foreign to her as well, but she stayed with them for a time and learned that they drew arcane energy from this tree, turning its branches into whatever they needed, bows or even orbs to focus their power."
Ellis, I'm gonna look at my skin. I don't believe that I have that skin tone, do I?
That's one description of a wood elf. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember a Garwin's tone in coloring.
I think he was kind of Mediterranean.
Like
in
olive,
tone.
olivey kind of.
Give me half of a second here.
Sure.
I don't know if I even noticed that or noted that. Reddish black hair and tanned. So yeah. Hi guys, it wasn't me. I promise.
Yeah. So basically, what she's saying, and you would get this at Garwin, was that the Ix, whatever descendants Ix may have had, were high elves, very pale, blonde, white hair, and then when Faunus returned to the grove, there was a new race of elves there, and she wasn't sure where they came from, but it appeared that the landscape itself had changed, so she presumed that hundreds of years had passed as she wandered the forest.
So yeah, I'll pass that along, and I'm gonna go and very quickly go and cover it. Look, hey guys, it wasn't me. I didn't have anything to do with this shit. I've never been here before.
The sins of the father are not the sins of the son.
I know of several instances where that may actually be the case, but not in mine. At least not in this instance.
At this figure standing next to Sula begins stepping forward slowly. She's looking up at the sky a bit, and she says, she's sort of mumbling to herself, and then it takes shape, and she says something to the effect of, "How hast my kin Columptius May, as she dwelleth under the canopy, and I who wait so much shall see, come to my arms, we shall see." And Sula comes to her, her arms growing outwards as branches to wrap her afflicted kin in an embrace. And Wim goes on a little bit more frantic and says, "Through and through my sacred roots, ere did they drink 1,000 times, now not to ash and cinders fly, along the winds of foreign sky." And here, her eyes open from beneath the knots, they're glowing a pale orange. She's looking right at Sula, and she says, "My roots, Sula, across a foreign sky, I see them." And she's trying to comfort her. Wim's face brightens, and she looks over your shoulder. I'm looking where Versailles. Where are you standing, Versailles? I don't see you. Oh, you're over there. Yeah.
She's busy staring at the trees.
Yeah, she's looking sort of more in your direction, sort of over your shoulder, and says, She says she's looking kind of to the south, and she says, "I see them." And her eyes fade again. She collapses to the ground, grumbling to herself, repeating these verses a little bit as Sula retracts the embrace, as the mumbling shifts into nonsense and incoherence a bit. And she's saying, "The swirling burleys tither the hedge, grow low they go, for sight the ledge, the ledge." And she's just repeating these kind of nonsense verses again and again as Sula sighs deeply. And she sort of walks forward. She's very non-confrontational, and she says, "For this madness there is no cure, but if you are driven to help some, like your friend," gesturing to Bee again, "and her people, to help so many here be free of the winged madness, the forest would owe you a debt."
We promised that we would take care of it so that it would stop harming her people. But if I may be so bold as to make a request of my own, whilst we deal with this problem and the others, to leave these invaders, the Vanadori, alone to the south. I know that they cut down your forest, and they built fortifications with them, but it is because they are threatened and they know nothing else to do.
She would say, she would think for a second and say, "Your wishes We will honor them, but please free us from this beast. We know where it nests, where it goes to rest, where it climbs its throne atop the pile of bone. Once sanity returns here, the Bastion will wait for you. He waits for the time to cast out the darkness, so our forest once again sings with color and with the honey glow of a grateful morn.
Well, have you any other information about this winged madness that perhaps B is unaware of? What does it look like? What is its capabilities?
It has, from what we've seen, few have returned who have encountered it directly, but it has it's been described as a song or a scream or a cry that can drive you mad. And it has a deadly gaze.
That's not a lot to go on, but I suppose we'll have to do.
A question, Dryad.
Yes, wise one.
Thank you. We ran into some creatures. Red cap. They had red caps and they were speaking in a language I did not understand, though I believe, and I'll gesture to Versailles, she understood it in Sylvan, if I'm not mistaken, and he will look at Versailles for confirmation.
At this, Versailles turn and goes, "What?"
Okay, that's good enough. Anyways, they spoke in Sylvan and said I believe they said the madness comes for all, will come take us as well. Do you know anything about Red Cap? Any sort of other race of people that are not, gesture to beast people? To be, like, verbal or humanoid, or someone who's here other than the 2-3 of us?
She looks at you and she would, she's just walking forward very slowly, and she would say, these creatures, you must understand, they're native to these parts, and we respect all life. They have as much of a right to live as anything here. It would not be our way to oppose them, but I've heard that if what you say is true, perhaps they are serving this winged beast. Perhaps they have found some way to benefit. But it's strange to me that they wouldn't be affected. Or perhaps you said that did they seem mad themselves, like they'd been afflicted?
No, and that's the weirdest part. They seemed very coherent throughout the entire thing, but still said that the madness would take us.
Generally,
They came upon us and attacked us on sight. I don't know how sane that sounds.
They were stealthy about it, and they used tactics and positioning. Sandpaper just runs at the nearest thing and swings like a madman.
We have no frame of reference as to what they might have been before to assume they're mad or not.
Madness can take many forms and can affect things in many different ways.
They also were not shouting gibberish.
I would have called my former captain insane as he sacrificed people below deck, but he was pretty methodical about that.
Former captain?
Very long story.
The same will also turn and says, I don't think that has the same thing to do, but I understand your reference. Not really, but I understand where you're trying to get at, since I don't really know or was there, though I've seen things.
Is he like trailing off?
Yes, like he is trailing off, and like his eyes are just glazing over slowly.
Yeah, Sula's just kind of looking at you intently.
So
anyways,
I don't want there to be any misunderstanding. We were told by B that if we help kill this winged terror, she would show us the way out. And that's what we're here for. At least that's what I'm here for.
I'm also here for that.
You must know something. I don't know what else you've been told, but we would not. How do I phrase this? If you wish to be shown out or shown home, of course we would help, but I don't want you to think that it's purely conditional, you see. But if you are willing, it would benefit all life here.
I've been led to believe this forest has a mind of its own and takes prisoners as it chooses.
It also is generous when it wants to be.
Hence the army to the south, who seem to be trapped here.
Yes, well, if we were to get them out of your hair and to stop them from cutting down your trees, they must also be granted safe passage out. They are certainly the more hostile force of foreigners in this place, as I have seen. And I do not
Praetor,
think, yes.
if I may cut in for a second, did the king, I think you said he was called, did he ever say he was trying, the emperor? Did the emperor ever say they tried to leave?
I don't recall. Did he ever say that they tried to leave, or did they just keep sending scouts out?
Oh yes. Yeah, I believe Wolfhair said that. Yeah, they were sending scouts out trying to find the elves, and he wasn't really focused on getting back until he had won a victory, or he had, he didn't want to go home empty-handed, so to speak.
Well, prior to our arrival, I do not think they were concerned with finding a way out.
Yes,
But
but
now that perhaps if we can show them, well, I intend to show them the error of their ways, and at least they can make something of themselves that doesn't involve committing war crimes.
yes, but Versailles said it should take about a week to make its way through the forest. They've been here, as far as they know, a month. Not to mention the stories you told me that no one was able to cross through the forest without a guide from this elven city.
Yes.
Now,
It
Sula,
sound... Go ahead, sorry.
Yes.
so we made mention of the passage of time, how a month here seemed to be a decade where we're from. Do you know anything about that? I don't know if you've ever left the forest to have a frame of reference, but I mean, do you know of time, the passage of time in different places? Is there a way to minimize that effect while we're here? Because we have, as important as what's going on here is, there are other important things going on outside. And if this journey takes me a week, I'd rather not be 4 years too late.
She would think for a moment, and she would say, hold on, I'm sorry.
Doesn't know, it's a sign of weakness. Take her down.
Sorry, guys, 1 second.
Take your time.
Something's wrong with my notes. Yes, she would say You fight so hard, worry about. I've heard many stories from outside the forest where people worry about which figure is on which throne, who kneels to who, which deity is the right one. To us, only the forest is eternal. Only the forest matters. There is another way, you know. You could stay here with us, really live. I know you're kind. When we see them die, no one says they're glad to die for their king. They wish they could see one more sunrise to see the beauty of the world. Would you be so quickly to rush outside of this forest and...
Yes.
I'd say yes simultaneously as well.
She just shakes her head. You just get the impression she just doesn't understand the need.
What you
gonna
know
leave-
is here. You know the forest. What we know is out there. What we have out there matters to us. It may not be eternal, but it is ours.
I'm going to lean closer to her. I'm going to kind of gesture over my shoulder at them, and they're like, they're loyalists. It's kind of in their blood.
There is something that needs to be done out there.
And much of it is time sensitive.
I think I understand. This place you return to is your forest. It's your home. It's eternal to you.
No. Mine is a forest that has burned. But I would like to make the people who made it burn pay.
As would I.
So we have more in common than I thought. You know, did they call you Praetor?
Yes.
You know what you ask for us to allow the invaders to leave is a great thing to ask, but I will see it done.
They at the very least deserve to know the folly of their mistakes. And though they have committed crimes against your home, it does not have to be... This place does not have to be their end. They can return and make something else. Plant a new forest for themselves, so to speak. I want to give them that chance. They have to earn it. There are some conditions, but as it stands, that is what we aim. And if they are gone, then they will no longer be a threat to you or your forest. I think we all get out of this. We all get what we want out of this.
Indeed. It is interesting to know that, I know you're not interested, but much as one can be separated, one of my kind, gesturing to Wim, can be broken in two, separated from a part of themselves, horrible as it is, so too can one of your kind be joined to another part of you, to us, and it is just as beautiful, even more so. So the offer stands should any of you reconsider.
I don't think I'd be welcomed. There is nothing but hatred in me.
She looks and says, perhaps that is but one part of you. Perhaps there's another part of you out there waiting to be found.
We'll have to see after the hatred stops.
Very well.
Dramatic, aren't we?
A little angry.
And Cobra, did she answer Ren's question? I think I may have lost track of it. I apologize.
No, not at all.
What was the question?
If
I didn't feel like it was answered.
If they know anything about the time difference, and if there's a way to minimize the effect.
She would say, this is something that we do not fully understand, but...
I will be right back.
Yes. If you were to go north to Zekdiem, you would find a river there that could take you either way to the sea, and that would be the quickest way out.
Right, but if that trip takes us a week, and when we leave this forest, many years have passed, or months perhaps, or months even, that still puts quite a strain on our our goals outside.
The Bastion seems immune to these effects that you've mentioned. I think if he is your guide, he can protect you from what you fear.
And the Bastion will see us if we yield with this winged madness, yes?
That part is conditional, I fear.
Well, let's fulfill our promise to the Furbolgs, and then we can go from there. There's also another possibility that I am thinking of. If there is no effects on the flow of time, perhaps Vanadori were simply displaced for much of their time. What was a moment for them was years for the rest of us. And they appeared, and then they settled down.
Do they seem... well, how do I phrase it? Do they seem older, or do they seem the age that you expect?
Each I remember them. A bit more weathered from the time spent here in the forest, but
so perhaps for many
as I
years...
said, it has been 11 or 10 or 11 years since I last saw any of the faces there I recognized, and they all look exactly the same.
He looks old, though.
I do not age at the same rate that they do, but I have put on a few years.
I don't know if we have a similar frame of reference, but for us, they have been... We first became aware of them about only a moon ago. I couldn't say how long. 10 years for you? I don't know. How
I'm back.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but lunar cycle's like 21 days or something?
Yeah.
In Faerun or in general? Because it's like 28 days for us. And there's... we're going to say... For us, that would be... 10 years would be 130 moons. Because there's 13 months in the Faerun calendar, right?
Yes, they have not been here that long.
Well, there's 13 moons in a year.
Yeah.
What she's trying to get
13
across
moons,
is like
yeah.
is like 10 years ago. Like she's not sure how to express what 10 years ago for her. What like what anything that she could reference wouldn't make sense to you. And if you said like, oh, the king of whatever, she doesn't know what that is. You know what I mean?
The passage of time means like nothing to her.
Yeah, it's just she would explain about the seasons and the immortal cycles, the cycles of nature.
It's like asking a fly its name and then trying to remember what the fly's name was.
Or like trying to talk to like a patch of crabgrass. It would just be...
Exactly.
Yeah. Well.
You mean to tell me that you guys don't talk to your grass? That's rude.
Well, I've never talked to anyone before.
Well, I appreciate you indulging our questions.
I hope it's been of some minor help.
The location of the beast.
Yes, that will be more. That's more pressing, I imagine at this point.
Would you prefer to leave now or in the morning?
Let me check my spell slots.
Ellis, can you remind me of the three mystics again?
Yeah, sure. It was Ix, DM, and Nire.
Okay. Yeah, Nire's the one we talked to. Ix is supposedly on the other side of the continent somewhere, or was last known to be there. And
We've
DM
run
is
into
the
followers of Ix.
Yeah.
But I don't think we ever actually met Ix.
No. I think Nire said something about him last, like, settling down or whatever in the mountains where the dwarves are, or something like, or around there. And DM is supposedly linked to the big tree where the wood elves came from.
If anyone's interested in additional reading under game info, I'll drop a lore article.
Ooh.
There we go.
Ellis is nerding again.
Not like we're not supporting him.
I'm nerding perpetually.
My zero state is nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But yes, the location of this beast, so that we may deal with it.
Perhaps tomorrow, if we would like to rest. I don't remember how hurt you guys were after the challenge.
I'm fine.
What are you talking about? We're
Fighter-
fine. I look myself over.
Flair generally just needs a short rest to get things back up and going.
All I needed really is a short rest. I'm only missing one 4th level spell slot, which I can get back after a short rest.
Mm-hmm.
Deflator did take quite a fair amount of damage, though.
Yeah,
And
but-
didn't take the healing.
Yeah, but we did short rest after the fight.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm missing 1 hit point. Yeah, I think. Well, how long have we been traveling? I'd say that's the bigger question. Are we near the end of a travel day, or does it look like we might have some time to pursue this monster?
Yeah, so yeah, I feel like you've probably gotten about half of your travel done.
Okay.
I think it's probably, mid-afternoon.
How long would it take us to get to this beast's lair?
Would you like to ask?
Yes, I did. That was in character, sorry.
Yes.
I'm a lot more enthusiastic as a person.
We can guide you. It would take about, if we go swiftly, it would take 2 days.
Then we might as well go now.
Yes, go now, bed down for a night, and continue our trek.
If we do half a day now, then we don't have to go quite as swiftly for the next 2 days.
Mm-hmm. I looked around though real quick, and I just want to lean into him and just go, what of your charge? Do you really want to take her in with whatever this is? Do you not think she would be safe here?
She's not my charge.
Your ward.
She's a girl. She's a woman able to make her own decision. I am not in charge of her. I do not instruct
If we
her.
gave her that option, you know damn well she's gonna come with us anyway. We ain't got any say in it.
Very well. Just
I mean,
trying
she's a
not
frickin'
to-
princess. She's just gonna go and order us to go and take her with us.
True enough. Though she can't really order me.
I'm sorry, are you all talking about me?
No, we're talking about Versailles.
Ah. Yes, I suppose Versailles can make her
Versailles
own
a princess
choices.
too?
Yes.
Wow.
Look at her. She
No.
is a pretty, pretty princess.
Yes, and she's been, yeah, she needs to get back to her kingdom.
For that round of gaslighting, I look back to Ren. I just say, well, so be it. I just don't want to make it seem like I am dragging her unnecessarily along.
Are you saying
I
this
don't-
loud enough for us all to hear, or just him?
I mean, right next to me, but yeah, I'm trying to keep the conversation as private as possible.
Then, if you're trying to keep it private, Lucan would go out of his way not to listen.
Okay.
He does respect people's privacies.
He goes and begins to hum a frickin' tune.
It's all one note and completely flat.
But I just
Ren,
just go ahead.
I say, I'll not. I have an idea of what she'll do, but will not assume either way. If you want to pose the question to her, I'll leave that up to you.
Fine. I'll take the opportunity. I at least want to know where she stands. I'll approach Adney.
She stands over there.
Adney,
Yes, Octavian.
I know you are.
It's beautiful here, isn't it?
Yes, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is important. I know you're a bit of a thrill seeker, and I think that is a good quality for you to have as, as a leader for the future. But we are going up against something that is very much an unknown. I think we will be able to handle it, but I do not want to place you in any unnecessary danger. We are charged to bring you back safe and sound, despite all of the circumstances before us. So, I will leave it up to you, but I want you to think about this very carefully. Do not be impulsive about this. If you want to come with us and face this creature, you are free to do so. But if you would prefer to stay back and have a closer guarantee of safety, do you feel as if you would be safe here among this grove?
She gestures to the two dryads who sort of led you in, who have been standing back, sort of looking on this whole time. And she says, "You want me to stay here with them? They're a bit weird, aren't they?"
I mean, aren't...
No
our
offense.
group of...
And Nettie says, "None taken."
Well, what of our group? We're a bit weird.
You're weird. I'm perfectly fine.
She says, "You're all my kind of weird. This is no. I'll come with you, please."
Told
Very
you.
well. But when a fight breaks out, do your best to support us, keep your distance. Don't take any unnecessary risks. Don't draw attention to yourself. Let us take hits.
Yeah, well, yes, Octavian, that's all fine. And I do appreciate your concern, but I mean, realistically speaking, if I was to stay here, by the time you come back, well, I might be 90. We just don't know, do we?
She's got you there.
Point, but hopefully we will get those answers by dealing with this creature.
Yes.
And speaking to whatever this bastion is.
Yes, I know my mother's still alive. I can feel it in my heart. And the quickest way to get back to her, I believe, is to follow you. Get to... Was it a river, they said? Whatever it is. It's the quickest way back to her.
One step at a time. Let's deal with the task before us, and we will make a decision on what to do next. I am not of the mind of staying here for very long, but we must do what is necessary to ensure all parties involved get a satisfying conclusion to this.
Yes.
And with that, Ren kind of claps Octavian on the shoulder and says, "See, women are tougher than you think."
I never said anything.
And Ren walks
away. Yeah, I never said anything about this one. Just because I am concerned for someone's safety does not mean I find them weak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did help you all kill a hag.
That is true. That was
I didn't
was
really...
impressive.
I mean, I guess my contribution was not dying, but still.
Right, but we were not but a few days ago. We were attacked by small men in iron boots.
That was fun.
I think that is slightly weirder than the hag.
Yes, they were an unsavory sort, weren't they?
That was my arrest that just snapped into a different direction.
Oh,
It's meant to do that. I moved it a little too hard.
She's gonna sort of lean in to whisper to you, Octavian. And she's gonna say, "Frankly, Octavian, if you don't, I don't want to hurt their feelings because it is lovely here, but I don't want to spend another minute in this place than I have to."
Took words out of my mouth.
There are words in your mouth? Here, let me help you get them out. I'm a dentist too.
I want to be a dentist.
Starts raising the dead to work on the teeth.
I know.
Great practice, at least.
Oh, what's that character who collects the teeth? What is that?
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, it's
There's the Tooth Fairy from the Fairly Odd Parents.
No, I'm thinking of the thing. Oh, jeez, I'm having like a regression to like a past life or something here.
What what series is it from? Or
What's the
show or whatever?
what's the creepy pasta about the pirate show?
Candle Cove. Are you talking about
Yeah.
Channel Zero?
Yeah, the teeth. Yeah, the tooth monster.
Yeah, that was. I don't think that was in the original creepypasta, but yeah, that was something
Channel
really
Zero.
fun.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
like.
I like Channel Zero.
That
So
had
much.
what's his face in it? Who was the guy? That was Mark Brandanowitz from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some of the seasons are really good. Others not so much.
I only saw that one, but if there's others that are good, I'm happy to check them out.
Yeah, each season is about a different creepypasta.
Yeah. I just when
Like
you
I
said
said, they're hit or miss.
yeah. Anyway, wow, that was a deep cut.
Like when you started about like the thing collected heat, like that popped into my mind, but I'm like, there's no way anyone else here has seen Channel Zero. Actually, no way. I was wrong.
Yep. um,
So this whole time, Octavia or Lucan and Versailles have been actually talking to each other, just so you guys are aware.
Yeah, I'm reading through it right now.
yeah.
Lucan will actually turn to Octavian. Praetor, can we walk and talk? Privately.
I suppose.
Privately, just the three of us.
Very well.
If you want, you can always bound my arms if you do not trust me.
That will not be necessary.
Hmm. And Dryads, may we have some peace?
No, of course.
And-
And these two will actually, you would see them sort of back away, and they're going to fade into the trees, out of sight. And Sula will tend to him.
Okay. We'll go for a nice walk. Versailles, what is it that me and the Praetor had said that has upset you?
Tychon, what happened?
Yes, I was there.
What happened?
In general, or what
Chaos.
happened to me? Or yes, yeah, that was the exact words.
Chaos. With the disappearance of the heirs and whatever circumstances that caused for their disappearance, Senate was split and in shambles. Nobody could agree on anything. Then the plague began to spread. Swiftly started picking through the people of the city. No magic, no remedies of any kind stop it. And then
Once
the
the
infighting
Praetor-
happened.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Then infighting happened. People blaming other groups of people. Different races. Even I was accused of being a spreader. Given my kind of flash the eyes for a little bit. Nature. I and the rest of those who stayed behind did what we could to maintain some amount of order, but very soon it became apparent that things were crumbling. I do not know of the specifics beyond that because at that point I had already left.
That's where I come in. Once the Praetor and all the rest that were holding it left, there was a decline. The people had left slowly, but some refused to leave. And then the orcs came from the other side and pincered us in, slaughtering the towns. You can actually tell that he's like hissing out his words as if it's like bringing him a lot of anger to actually even say this.
The very thing at my original garrison we were supposed to prevent.
But once they were all gone, they swept in, killed villagers by the thousands. I don't think I saw a living person for so long. There was There was teacher, but he wasn't there. He was there after. But
How long ago was this?
God,
I left 10 years ago.
so it'd be about 10, 11 years ago.
Mhm.
You can say it out loud. You don't need to type it. I was probably one of the last alive, and that wasn't an orc. At least one of the residents. I could be wrong. There
What
were
of
a
the
lot of
Gallus family?
them. DM, do I know who that is?
Why don't you roll?
History?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will as well.
18.
6.
It's intelligence.
Can I actually give? I'm actually going to give Octavian advantage, and I'm going to explain why. It's not. It's not for a bad reason.
Okay.
You both would remember that actually, the Gallus family was a prominent armor smith in town, well known for their high quality. And Elaine, did you say that it was a specific a scale, right?
Yeah, they would find a way to make the leather armor look like scales.
Yes, and the reason I gave you Octavian is because you would know certainly where you would know this armor, and Lucan with an 18, you would know the name as a prominent armor smith in town.
Gotcha.
They made known for their leather working. Yes.
Yes.
Would I know anything that happened to them? Is the question of the day.
In the chaos, probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, they probably would have been long gone
At that
before
point,
anything
probably.
possibly happened.
I would think that they would be gone before you had left.
Would they have been with a 20? A retroactive 20?
No, I mean like the family itself would have been
Oh.
gone before you had even left. Being, wealthy and
Well, when Octavian left, like, Tycon was still standing. It was, there was a lot of dead people from plague and everything like that. But,
I can't imagine a wealthy family with a lot of influence and well-known armor smith would stick around for something like that unless they were very dedicated to the city.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, either.
Yeah, Octavian, you would not have you would not have heard that any of them died, and you would have noticed before you left that their shop had been abandoned and boarded up, so they left.
Versailles, if it is of any comfort, their shop was abandoned before I left the city, and I have heard of no reports that they had passed due to the plague or other reasons.
I didn't
Perhaps
see
they are still out
orcs
there.
wearing their armor, if that means anything.
That doesn't mean anything.
His is
Well,
better
and
than mine.
it might not fit them. But
At least they're not captured.
I'll put my hand on Versailles' shoulder if she'll let me.
I don't need your patronizing parts.
No. Listen,
You won't get them
I
from me.
know it is a lot to take in, and even I have the benefit of a decade of processing. You're just figuring out this now. But I am doing everything I can to make sure that you and the rest of the people there, for better or worse, get out of all of this alive. And that we
And
can
for what?
To get revenge.
vengeance and a new start. It is better than wallowing in misery.
You, Praetor, cannot speak of that sort of misery, but you are very, very right. Misery leads to very, very, very bad choices.
Yes.
And he will just turn around and start walking away. Let's get revenge for at least them. But you have a chance for your family to actually still be around. I do not.
You know, she never did say it was her family.
Hmm.
That's fair
Well.
enough. But he just made the assumption at this point because you asked specifically about that family.
True. So you're just gonna
Listen,
tell them nothing's left. Their loved ones are dead.
there is no guarantee, but I am not going to tell them. I am going to show them. Perhaps it will stir something in them.
Most likely anger.
Good. Anger is a good weapon. And there are plenty of targets that are squatting in our city.
I don't
I've
see
wanted to
anything
go
left
back
in
for
that
a long
city.
time. There may not be much, but there is something. A city is just a place, but those people back there deserve to have a chance to fight for it. And they can make something of themselves. It's
There
the
isn't
least
much.
that your emperor can do to make up for his mistakes.
There
I
is
don't claim him as my emperor.
there is
Whether or
not much
not
of the
you
city left.
agree, he is all that we have left.
Ow, my arm. Damn it. There is not much of the city that is left. It is but a shell, but at least the shell can be hollowed back out of the filth that's inside and filled with something that at least doesn't look so damn ugly and green.
Wow, racist.
I got
No,
no reason to be
this-
racist.
Octavian just goes, I don't
He's
know.
a
It's not
colorist, thank you.
Somehow that sounds worse.
These fucking trees.
Yeah. Octavian just says, I don't know. Green's not a bad color. Knew an interesting fellow who was green. Saved my life once. Not an orc, but adjacent. Never mind.
What's orc adjacent?
Goblinoids, I think.
Half
Yeah.
orcs.
Yeah, half
Half
orcs.
orcs technically, but I mean, given the skin color,
Yeah, it's
it could be a fair assumption.
Yeah, other races
Goblins.
tend to just group them together.
It would definitely insult Varn, but he's not here at the moment.
Yeah. Also understand, Octavian was raised among humans, so
Well, of course. I mean,
might be,
it's kind of a given.
there is a perspective. There is a perspective. Anyways,
Mhm.
so grief is natural, and I don't expect you to be 100% at a moment's notice, but this is the reality of things. Better to know the truth than to live a lie. In my opinion.
Well, tell that to the emperor.
I have. I think he is
And
still in
force it
the
through his
denial
skull more.
state. I do believe he's still in the denial stage, but I think he'll come around.
No, he's been in denial for, as you would say, years.
Well,
I mean, what would you say? Minutes?
For her, it'd be about a month.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
wha-
I thought you were a human. I was like,
She
what
is.
years?
I knew Wolf here long before all of this. He's not a bad guy. He's not a bad kid. He's just